In part 3 of this demo on adjustment layers and masks, we're going to create more contrast in the sky. We're going to use a combination of techniques here to do this. What we'd like to do is create more contrast at the top of the sky and have that contrast, that added contrast, kind of fade out near the bottom and also not affect the silos. So the first thing I'm going to do is use the quick mask mode, which we remember is down here near the bottom of the tools bar. I'm going to click on that to activate it. And I could do this with a big soft brush and kind of brush across the sky. But I'll show you that we have another tool to use, which is the gradient tool. And that's about midway down on your tools bar. And this creates a gradient from one color to another color. For us, that's going to be from black to white. Why is it from black to white? Because currently our foreground color is black and our background color is white. And in the options bar of this tool, we are set to go from the foreground color to the background color. That is up here in this area here. If it doesn't look like this, you can switch it around by clicking on that little spectrum and changing it and using the foreground to background option. That's why we are going from black to white. Remember that, because what we want to do is select the sky the most and have it fade out near the ground. In terms of using the quick mask mode, in order to create a selection up here, I'm painting black up here, which will look like a red overlay, and will gradually fade out down to the bottom where it ends up as white. How does this work? You see that I have this cursor. I'm going to click, and you can see that as I drag, I'm dragging out this line. Wherever I start, that's where I'm going to get 100% black or red overlay, and wherever I stop, I'm going to get 0% black or red overlay, in other words, white. Now, I can drag this in this direction. I could drag this in this direction. I could make a very short transition. I could make a very long transition. What I'm going to do is click about midway in the sky. I'm going to drag down toward the horizon. I'm going to hold down the shift key as I go so I have an absolutely perfectly vertical line. And when I let go, I get this gradual transition from top to bottom. Remember, it's a red overlay, and that will become our selection as soon as we exit the quick mask mode, which I'm going to do by clicking on this quick mask mode a second time. That exits. Now you see that we have a marching ants dotted line defining the area that is selected. It looks like it's a hard break right here, but it's not. That's simply where it breaks off at about 50%. We know that it's going from about 100% here to about 0% here, and that's about the 50% line. So now that I have that selected, I'm going to do a, oops, not that. I'm going to create a new adjustment layer. I'm going to do a curves adjustment layer. Because I'm affecting tonal range, I'm going to switch from normal to luminosity. And I'm going to take my little finger gun thing here and find out, like, where are my tones? Oh, there's a dark tone, and here is a light tone. And if I click on those different areas, it gives me these points. So I can just simply move those points around and maybe even bring that top point down a little bit. And now we got like really deep dramatic sky, which is kind of cool. But you'll notice that it's also, if I overdo it, you can really see this happen, it's also affecting the tops of the silos, and I don't want that. So keep that in mind. Love what's happening in the sky, don't like that it's affecting the tops of the silos. Now, if you look at our thumbnail of this mask, you see that right now it's white at the top. That's where we're seeing the effect, and it's black at the bottom. That's where we're not seeing the effect, and it's kind of gray in the middle. The black is hiding the effect. Well, I also want to hide the effect where the silos are. So basically I would want this mask to be black in the shape of the silos right there. How could I do that? How could I add just that shape of black to this mask? I'm active on that mask right now, which means that anything I do in terms of painting will be painted on that mask and affect that mask. What I'd love to do is be able to paint black just in that precise boundary of the silos. Well, I can do that because I saved the selection from earlier. So I have to load that selection. I'm going to go to the Select menu, down to Load Selection. I'm going to go to my channel here and bring up Silos and say, OK, there is my Silos selection. And now all I have to do is fill that selection with black. Now you could grab a paintbrush and just brush over that whole area with black. That would be one way to do it. But you can go to the Edit menu to Fill, and we're going to fill contents. We're going to set to be black, although I could also use foreground color because that's my foreground color right now is black. I'm going to choose black. fill at a normal mode with 100% opacity, and I'm filling that shape on the mask with black so it will hide the effect of that contrast that I've given the sky. And there it's done it. I'm going to deselect by hitting Command D to get rid of my selection. I want to zoom in for a second on the layer mask thumbnail, and you can see there is the shape of those silos. They are being hidden from the added effect of that curves layer, and if I turn that layer on and off, we will see there's the sky before, there is the sky after. If you look, the silos are not being affected when I turn on that layer. Last thing I do, as always, is I'm going to rename that layer by double-clicking on where it says Curves 1, and I'm just going to put Sky, more contrast, whatever you did, so that we all know what our layers are doing. And that's part 3.